I don't like one song or if I don't like one thing, it is now a problem, and I never understood that. It makes no sense. I am not going to sit here and not give my opinion in fear of somebody feeling a way. Now I'm compromised. I'm never going to be compromised.
Death threats have been aimed at Plaqboy Max for weeks, and now YB himself just caught him slipping. The Louisiana rapper went full nuclear on the streamer, calling him out by name and promising real consequences. Max thought he could critique YB's music and walk away unscathed, but is about to learn why you don't play with Top's name in these streets. Plaqboy Max have been one of the biggest NBA YoungBoy supporters in the streaming world, showing mad love and playing his music daily to millions. One honest reaction to YB's latest track, though, flipped everything upside down. This isn't just some internet beef. YB's team have been issuing real threats. And with both performing at Rolling Loud the same day, this could get dangerous fast. To see how a simple music reaction turned into potential violence, we have to rewind to where it all went south. Plaqboy Max have been among NBA YoungBoy's most loyal supporters, streaming his tracks daily, reacting to every album drop, and showing nothing but love to the full KT camp. Max even said he'd been bumping YoungBoy since middle school, real day one loyalty. But here's where streaming gets tricky. Content creators have to stay honest with their audience, even if it ruffles feathers. Max built his platform on authenticity. He doesn't fake reactions to please rappers. NBA YoungBoy, however, has long been known for not tolerating any disrespect, real or perceived. The Louisiana rapper built a reputation for going after anyone who speaks sideways about his music. From DJ Goes to other industry figures, YB operates on a heightened sensitivity when it comes to his artistry. To him, disliking his music feels like disliking him personally. This sets the stage for a perfect storm. Max, who built a career on honest reactions, versus YB, who takes any critique as personal disrespect. Something had to give. The first crack came in July 2025 when NBA YoungBoy dropped his Massa album. Max was streaming his usual reaction when things went left. Instead of hyping it up, he kept it brutally honest. I'm going to be honest, bro. I'm not finishing this album. This is not for me. I'm just keeping it a buck. He tried to soften the blow by shouting out YB and calling him a great artist, but the damage was done. He said the project was repetitive and just not his speed. Most artists might shrug it off, but YB's team was watching and filed that reaction for later. Sources close to the situation say YB's camp didn't like how Max handled the album reaction. They saw it as disrespectful, especially after all the love Max had shown before. At the time, nothing major happened, just some behind-the-scenes tension. Fast forward to recently, YB dropped his new track Head Tap. Max was back on stream, reacting as usual, real and unfiltered. I'm not going to lie. I don't like this. I don't mess with this. I'm going to give it a buck. YoungBoy ain't been missing for me, but I don't mess with this song. Here's where it gets serious. Max's reaction went viral. TikTok clips started circulating showing him dissing the track. And you know how the internet works, they cut out all the part where Max was showing love and respect, only highlighting the negative comments. Suddenly, it looked like Max was straight up hating on YB, when in reality he was just giving his honest opinion like always. Things escalated when Montana, who's like YB's stepdad and part of his inner circle, saw these clips and took it personal. Montana went on Instagram talking reckless. He's just a little pretty hater. That boy sees us. He'll probably go the opposite way. Just say you don't mess with us. Go play them other dudes' music. We don't do no streams with none of you clowns. Montana was talking like he had real power here, acting like streamers needed YB more than YB needed them. That's classic entourage energy, flexing next to the real star. But his response made it clear that YB's camp was definitely in their feelings about Max's reactions. That on the day everything blew up, Max was streaming as usual when chat started going crazy, telling him to check YB's Twitter. What he saw probably made his heart drop. YB had tweeted directly at him. Pla, you a __. You could have reacted and just said, you ain't like that song. You just do little hoes __, like a girl. Sit this one out. My boy, I ain't going to play with you and don't respond to me. F you __. This wasn't a casual diss. YB was calling Max out by name, questioning his manhood, and telling him not to even respond. That's real disrespectful energy, especially from someone Max had supported for years. Max's reaction on stream showed he was genuinely shook. You could see it in his face as he read the tweet. What did I do to you? I literally just told you I mess with you. How can you say this? What did I do to deserve this? That response showed Max was scared no cap. Instead of matching YB's energy or standing firm on his opinion, he immediately went into damage control, explaining himself and reminding YB of all the support he'd shown over the years. That's not the reaction of someone confident, it's the reaction of someone worried about real consequences. Max's chat was going wild. Some viewers urged him to stand his ground, while others warned him about YB's reputation. Comments were flooding in like, "Don't mess with YB, maximum. This dude really a gravedigger. You don't want this smoke." The fear was real. Max knows YB's history. This isn't just a rapper flexing on social media. YB has a reputation for backing up his words. Max was probably thinking about all the stories he'd heard about what happened to people who crossed the 4KT camp. Max tried to reach out privately to Montana, sending DMs to smooth things over. "Yo gang, I mess with your heavy and YB heavy. Bro, it's all love. I stream, so I give my opinion. It's nothing more than that. Brody, all love and blessings." Of course, Montana left him on read. That's when Max realized this was bigger than a simple misunderstanding. The aftermath of YB's tweet was immediate and intense. Max's mentions got flooded with YB fans sending threats and calling him all types of names. Some weren't just casual comments, people were making real threats over his reactions. Academics, who's connected to both sides, ended up calling Max on stream to mediate. During that call, OK warned Max, "I know YB, and is not someone who's going to beef over not liking a song, but maybe he thinks you're being sneaky or disrespectful in ways you don't realize."
And I say that to you to say he's not a nigga to go beef with you and have a problem because you ain't like a song. So maybe think you're sneak this. I don't know what.
That conversation revealed something important. Even people close to YB were confused about why he was going so hard at Maximum. Oki suggested that YB's team had probably only been showing clips that made Max look worse than he actually was, cutting out the parts where he was showing love. But the scary part was that both Max and YB were scheduled to perform at Rolling Loud on the same day, meaning they'd be in the same place at the same time with all that tension in the air. Oki was genuinely worried, saying, "We've got to get this to a great resolution because you're about to be on Rolling Loud together." Meanwhile, YB's fans took his permission to attack Max however they wanted death threats poured in. His personal info was being shared, and some even threatened to show up at his shows. Max tried to handle it gracefully, explaining he never disrespected YB personally, just gave his honest opinion about the music. But in YB's world, if you don't like his art, it's like you don't like him. Things got even more complicated when other streamers weighed in and defended Max's right to honesty, while others suggested he apologize to keep the peace, highlighting just how much power YB holds in the streaming world and how hesitant people would have fully backed Max for fear of being targeted next. By this point, Max was basically trapped. If he apologized, he'd look weak and compromise his integrity as a content creator. But if he stood his ground, he risked escalating things with someone who had a reputation for never backing down from conflicts. This situation revealed something bigger about the relationship between rappers and content creators. NBA YoungBoy's reaction to Max shows how some artists view streamers and influencers. They want the promotion and support, but they also want total control over the narrative. Max's situation became a cautionary tale for other streamers after seeing what happened to him. Many creators started being more careful about critiquing certain artists. That's real censorship through intimidation, and it changes the whole dynamic of honest music criticism online. What's even wilder is that this isn't YB's first time clashing with streamers and content creators. He's had issues with DJ Ghost, academics at times, and other media personalities who didn't show his music the proper respect. There's a clear pattern. YB doesn't tolerate any form of criticism, even constructive feedback from supporters. The scary part is how his fans interpret his public disses as marching orders. They take it as permission to harass, threaten, and potentially harm the person in question. That's a dangerous level of influence, especially when it's being used to silence legitimate criticism. For Max, this whole ordeal fundamentally changed how he approaches reacting to certain artists. Max is probably going to think twice before giving honest opinions about YB's music in the future, which means YB effectively silenced one of his biggest supporters through intimidation. The Rolling Loud situation added another layer of danger. Having both of them at the same event with all this tension and threats floating around created a powder keg. Security had to be extra careful, and Max probably couldn't even enjoy his performance knowing YB and his crew were somewhere on the same grounds. This beef also highlighted the power dynamics in hip-hop culture. YB, despite being relatively young, has built enough of a reputation that grown men with their own successful careers are scared to stand up to him. That's not healthy for the culture or for honest discourse about music. Looking at the bigger picture, this situation represents everything wrong with how some artists handle criticism in the social media age. Instead of taking honest feedback and moving on, YB turned a simple music opinion into a personal vendetta that puts someone's safety at risk today. Max is still streaming and doing his thing, but it's clear the situation affected him. He's more careful about how he phrases his opinions, especially regarding certain artists. That's a win for YB in terms of controlling the narrative, but a loss for authentic content creation. NBA YoungBoy's legacy in this scenario is complicated. On one hand, he showed his fan he won't tolerate any disrespect, real or perceived. But on the other, he also demonstrated a willingness to use his platform and influence to intimidate people who are just doing their jobs as content creators. The real lesson here is about the responsibility that comes with having a massive platform and a devoted fan base. When you have millions of followers who will ride for you no matter what, your word carry weight that can put people in real danger. YB used that power to silence criticism instead of handling it maturely. Honestly, this whole situation could have been avoided if YB had ignored Max's opinion or addressed it privately. Instead, he made it public and personal, escalating everything unnecessarily immature behavior from someone expected to be a leader in the culture today. To the end of the day, Max learned that in today's hip-hop landscape, honest opinions can come with serious consequences. YB showed his willing to use fear and intimidation to control how people talk about his music. That's not the kind of legacy any artist should want, but it's the reality when egos get bruised. The culture lost something here who lost a bit of the honest discourse that makes music criticism valuable. When content creators are scared to give real opinions for fear of retaliation, everyone loses. Artists don't get honest feedback, and fans don't get authentic reactions. The beef between NBA YoungBoy and Plaqboy Max represents everything wrong with how some artists handle criticism in 2026. Instead of taking feedback and moving on, YB turned it into a personal attack that puts someone's safety at risk. That's not gangsta that's bullying with extra steps. No cap, this whole situation was unnecessary and highlighted the worst side of hip-hop culture. But it also revealed the real power dynamics and how fear can be used to control narratives in the digital age. Max got caught lacking not because he did anything wrong, but because he dared to give an honest opinion in a culture increasingly demanding blind loyalty over authentic criticism.